This is the final video in our mini unit on hyphens and spelling rules. By the end of tonight's video, all students will be able to use hyphens correctly with prefixes and suffixes. Again, for tonight's video, my encouraging words are simply to record each of the spelling rules that we work with in this video and a sample of each. A lot of what we're doing here is simply about memorization. For our first rule this evening, we are going to talk about hyphens with prefixes. You should always use a hyphen with the following prefixes: all, X, and self. If you direct your attention to the samples on the screen, the first reads, Bobby is looking for an all new design for his website. Notice the hyphen between the words all and new, which in this case is also serving as a compound adjective to describe the noun design. In the second example, Ellen asked the ex-Marine about his mission at sea. Again, notice the hyphen. And in sentence 3, you see an example of the prefix self in action, using the word self-control. Before we go on, I want to give you all a warning again that sometimes the words all and new are not hyphenated. If you remember from our last set of no red ink exercises, many of you were getting upset because one time the words were hyphenated and the next time they weren't. You have to, with each problem, continue in this set of exercises to ask yourself, are the words all new functioning together as a compound adjective, or are they actually working as two separate words? An example of all and new working as two separate words would be to say something like this. Maria's friends were all new to the school, as in each and every single one of Maria's friends was a new student. You will also always use a hyphen when you have a prefix before a proper noun or a proper adjective. And you see some examples of this in action on your screen. Call your attention to sentence number 1. Would you call Tina anti-American? Notice the hyphen separating the prefix anti from the noun American. But also pay special attention here to notice that the proper noun maintains its capitalization even though it is no longer the first word in the sentence. You notice again in sample 2, it says Bobby is studying pre-Civil War technology. I have my hyphen separating the prefix from my proper noun, but the proper noun maintains its capitalization. There are some exceptions to the rule of using a hyphen with a prefix. You will rarely, if ever, need to use a hyphen with the following prefixes: non, miss, and pre. Again, at the bottom of your screen, you see some examples of this in action. The commercial gave us a preview of the movie. Notice that the word preview does not contain a hyphen, and neither does the word misspell in problem number 2, nor does the word non-stop in problem number 3. You also will rarely, if ever, use a hyphen with a qualifying term. A qualifying term is a term that is used to rank items. You see 4 examples of qualifying terms on your screen: most, least, less, and very. You will very rarely, if ever, put a hyphen with these words. Again, if you look at number 1, that is the most interesting book I have ever read. There is no hyphen between the qualifying term and that adjective interesting. I will close out tonight by talking about a special suffix that requires a hyphen, and that suffix is elect. The suffix elect refers to a person who has been given a job but has not actually begun the job yet. On your screen, you see an example of the term elect in action. The sentence reads, "The president-elect promised to lower taxes." To conclude tonight's video, I would like you to try your hand at these practice problems. Copy the sentences and then correct the spelling errors by adding hyphens where they are needed. That's all for this evening. Have a good night.